The old fart was a human, though. And we are here with the fourth meeting. We're gonna see how this goes. Konzo, Makishima-san left voluntarily, so we have to try and take it positively. We can consider whether it was good or bad after this is over. We can't turn back now. Are you okay, Haru-chan?
大丈夫だよ。
You. Fusasashi-san. Haru-chan is human. What a relief.
おじいちゃんも私も人だった。
Yeah.
人なのにあんたらはくくった。
まだ納得はできないよ。
まだ私たちに発言権はあるかしら。
Of course, what is it?
残り5人なのよね。
Yes.
じゃあ雲が名乗り出ればゲームクリアになるかもしれないわね。
Yeah, that was something to be wary of. Progression based on such optimism ideas would actually make it difficult for us.
もし雲が残る5人のうち誰かを守ったとすれば、雲もその人も確実に人だった証明ができる。狼は狼を襲わないから。
You're not wrong, but that sounds a bit optimistic.
まああくまで仮定だから。
楽観的？どういうことかよくわからん。なんでそうなるのだ？
Because it's not worth it for the wolves to target one of the 5 that aren't confirmed human yet. By killing them, they would reduce the number of potential wolves. They should start with those who are confirmed. But the snake, monkey, and the crow revealed they have no reason not to go for them. Exactly. After all, the spider protected Yasunaga-kun, a confirmed human. Even so, I didn't want the spider to out themselves and leave only 4 candidates. It increased the odds of the human realizing there were imposters among them.
僕は狼が雲を嫌がったから雲を殺そうとして正体不明の中から狙ったのかと思った。
Even then, there's no point in going for unconfirmed. Even I and Haru-chan could be the spider after all.
まあそういうわけで多分これで一発クリアってことにはならないわよ。
But if it actually is a situation where the spider revealing themselves reduces the unconfirmed humans to just 3, I would like him or her to do it.
しかしその場合、実際に狼を特定しても全員処刑するために3日間かかるわけだよね。
Right.
雲はまず間違いなく
Most likely.
それで名乗り出てもらうか。もし Q ちゃんなら絶対に名乗り出られないだろうな。
そうですね。私が雲なら名乗り出ないでしょうね。
No one played their cards.
皆さんは無実でも時に処刑されるかもしれないということをすでに了承してるってことですよね。
The silence said it all. Of course they did. Konzo had died just yesterday, after all. The peer pressure was too strong, after all.
まあ死ぬことが覚悟の上なら名乗り出てくれさえすれば多数派を作ることはできるんだけど。
そうですね。票を合わせれば投票で確実に勝てることになります。
Right now it was 6v6. It didn't feel right to consider Meiko as confirmed. So right now the sides were
そ
tied.
れに残る4人のうち3人に絞り込める4人のうち狼でない方には自分の他が狼だとその方の反応からまた何かが見えるような 気もいたします。
Then come out already, spider. Sounds dumbass. The spider didn't reveal themselves. Perhaps my assumptions were wrong, and the spider was Mimiya-san, who was just being careful not to get hanged. The spider was wary of the potential wolves among the humans. They were absolutely right about that. In the best case scenario, we would win the day after tomorrow. If the wolves in the Mako were alive, for when there were 8 people left, the wolves could reveal themselves and take in the badger as another vote. However, since we would lose Kori-san after she killed the Arobi brothers, the best case scenario was probably impossible. I would have to focus on trying to hide the fact that there were humans among the wolves. It'd all be over for us if they somehow determined the 3 final suspects today, hanged one of them, and the crow declared them as human tomorrow. They would immediately realize that the snake was lying. Thus, we needed a situation where it took longer for the rest to be confirmed. The spider acting cautiously worked in our favor. Of course, the spider themselves remained a major threat to us. But still, we had no choice but to use our nighttime kill to prevent a fixed majority. Identifying the spider and leading people to be executed required a subtle hand during the feast. It doesn't look like we can lower the numbers even further, so we will have to hang one of the remaining 5. Count the child. I know I might sound annoying, but our lives are on the line here. Right, it's 6, not 5. Stand up.
メイコ、立って。
She still stood up. What a good girl. It was followed by Kiyanosuke Shi, Reikeko-san, Kori-san, Tei-san, Mimiya-san. Starting from the side, I would like you to tell us 2 things. Why we shouldn't vote for you, and who other than yourself do you believe is a human? Teiba, please start.
私は人よ。それじゃがね、見てみなさいね。年寄りばかりが死んでおる。若い子らが汚れを呼び込んだんじゃないんかね。
What? It definitely wasn't only the elders, but it did look like the spaces around her were kind of empty. That must have been especially hard for her, who'd lost both Konzo and Takumi-san. Huh. Big shame, huh? All that's left on your side are the village heads you love so much and my old hag, all middle-aged. If you're saying that the journal woman and the brats are Yomi Bito, you aren't got the number for it.
あんただって自分でカラスじゃって言うとるだけでしょうがね。
The hell you just say?
義継、やめて。私も今くくられるかどうかの瀬戸際なんだから。
言うたら座ってもええんかね。座。
Please stand a bit longer.
やすくん、あんたもろくでもない子になり下がったね。
I'm sorry, I don't want any further chaos. Next. Tei-san must have felt pretty cornered. She didn't have to hold such a grudge.
私は狼ではありません。2人の息子に誓って。
Do you have anything else?
私は室匠さんのことを悪からず思っておりました。息子たちとも一度再婚については話したことがあります。
マジでか、やっすん。
Yes, I said it was up to her. I said that he wouldn't want a hag with brats for a wife. Well, Takumi was the best guy left in this shitty place. but feel weird having him for a dad. From the way he put it, it was safe to say he approved of the man.
言ってくださればいくらでもお受けしましたのに、私から言うのはさすがに厚かましいでしょう。それがこんなことになるなんて。私が狼なら匠さんを最初に殺したりはしないでしょう。以上です。あと他に人だと思うのは、冷静に人のための意見を出し続けている間宮久子さんです。
ありがとうございます。
あんたも結局はよそ者か。
Koi-san was basically implying that Tei-san, Kiyonosuke, Reikeko-san, the village heads aligned, were the wolves. It was an emotional argument, but with the additional layer of logic she added, her idea showed merit. Man, that woman sure was something. That was the same person who applauded when I killed Takumi-san. Masato, you're next. A reason why I should stay alive, right? I understand you consider me to be the most unnecessary person here. However, I see any other good reason to hang me. Have I ever troubled you? Well, he was relatively laid back this time. He should have been more conscious the area of his words had drawn for him. There's one thing I want to say, though. It's about what Madame Orobi said 2 days ago.
何でしょうか。
Have you forgotten? When Chimi-Sarazawa died, you made the baseless claim that she was a wolf. Then you used it as justification to suspect Reikeko Masu's son, who had merely proposed the reason for her suicide. You crafted a negative interception of a harmless suggestion and then directed votes against someone in a difficult position. That seems like the action of a wolf to me. Don't you believe the village heads are critical to surviving this situation?
私はまだ疑いを持っています。あなたから見て理不尽でも、私が狼でない以上、あなたの読みは間違ってる。
That is all from me. And before I forget, I believe the human is Reikeko-san.
ありがとうございます。
Wow. He was actually completely right. How would they react to that? Thanks. Thank you. Next.
最初に申し上げたいことが、
Yes.
私はまだ27歳です。
Oh, this was her reply to the idea of being middle-aged. As everyone realized that some cleared their throats awkwardly, while others stifled some chuckles. The tense air dissipated a bit. She looked as serious as ever. If this was intentional humor, I'd say she had some talent. And 27, she was still in her prime. From what Chimi had said, I'd assumed that she was almost 40 or something. What a shame that I'd have to kill her.
私は長者として富士吉村のそのことから私を宴の司会たる長者の一味、ただ私は雲として果たすべきことをし続けることしか。
Are you saying that you are the spider? As in the one who received the power of the spider?
いえ、植松家という意味です。
Quit confusing us. I see. Continue.
私が目障りであれば、あるいは疑わしいならば、皆様の思いを引き取るのもまた雲の役目。
That approach worked for Chimi, but Reikeko-san, not so much. So who do you think is a human?
私には立っている皆様の誰も。
What? Reikeko, I appreciate that, but even Kori-san? She slandered you thoroughly.
誰をも疑いたくなるのは当然でしょう。事実、芹沢様が狼だという可能性も。しかしどうも皆様はこの5人が皆いなくなれば宴が終わると思っておいでのようで。
That would mean that either Yoshitsugu or Fushiasi-san are a fake crow and snake.
はい。蛇に潔白を証明されたあなたもですね、織部安永様。
Seriously? She was saying that there were wolves among the confirmed humans, which turned the current assumption on its head. Of course, both Yasunaga-kun and Hashishimoto were suspicious of that too, but I certainly didn't expect her, of all people, to bring it up now.
不妻子様、あなた様のことをお慕い申し上げております。
That's causes, sir. Yeah, I knew that. For some reason, she believed I was some savior sent to rescue the town from its problems. She even risked her life on the conviction.
しかし、もしあなたが狼ならば、親内様の言う通り、あなたをもくくらねばならない。
But if it opposed her sense of right, even I would become an enemy to her. I might have taken her too lightly. Are you saying that you doubt him more than anyone else?
いいえ、私はただ、そうだったら一番嫌な他に申し上げることはありません。
I understand. Next, Mimiya-san.
本当はとっとと蛇のお墨付きをもらって楽になりたいんですけどね。私は後ろ暗いところがないので。ただ多分私よりも怪しい人が何人か出たと思うので、その人たちを優先的に処刑や調査することになる。だから私は自分を調べろと強弁はしません。この状況で冷静に優先順位をつけてることが私の自己弁護。あともう一つ、私が狼なら橋本さんを真っ先に殺してる。
Her statement hit everyone with the force of a hammer.
おお、これは怖いな。
あなたたちが気づいてるかわからないけど、橋本さんは宴の内外で冷静で適正な進行に尽力してらっしゃるわ。この人がいなければもっと無茶苦茶な宴にできたはず。それをしないし、恐れてる私は狼じゃない。
それは買いかぶりすぎだ。でも心配してくれて。
I will make one thing clear. Hashimoto-san is an extremely huge help. Like Mimiya said, he was one of the main reasons why we're not just an unruly mob. I just figured that if the wolves were underestimating him, it wasn't a good idea to draw attention to their mistake, so I kept quiet. Mimiya-san, I agree with your words, but maybe you should have kept quiet.
あら、あなたを含めほとんどの人は彼のことを軽視してると思ったから、それは損だと伝えたかったのだけど。
I'm not.
昨日彼の仲裁も聞かずに処刑を断行したのに。
We have our own lines that must never be crossed. That's it. That's all I need to say about it.
あらそう。最後に人だと思う人、ノーコメント。人だと思う人を一人選べば残り3人は狼って話なんでしょうけど、植松さんの言うようにそうは思えない。人だと思う人は挙げやすいけど、結果的にやっていることは水かけ論の魔女裁判。 趣味がいいとは思わないわね。
Yes, neither do I.
自覚があるならもう結構。
Thank you very much. Lastly,
腹がすいた。
and that was it, huh? So who's shady? I believe that the two didn't present a candidate as humans aren't suspicious.
それは。
安永、あなた。
That seemed like a bad move to me, Yasunaga-kun. I could understand relating to the level-head ones, but the other three were just following the process provided. I could also understand trying to appear objective enough to suspect even your mother, but I couldn't blame anyone for thinking that he was just acting. I did not choose because I believed the rest were wolves.
まあおっちゃんはりっちゃん一筋を貫いてるしね。あんま怪しくはないかな。
You know, that's enough. The fact that Mochi said that right after Reikiko-san's declaration just showed how bad he was at reading the mood. It was awkward for everyone, human or wolf. Anyone else have anything to say? If not, I would like to start the vote.
随分と世話しないね。
I simply do not believe there is anything worth discussing. We should just do what we need to be
君は
done.
随分人命についての
No, I am simply ready to take responsibility for any deaths I cause. So that was his brand of righteousness this time.
皆さんよそのことにあまり口を出したくはないけどね。高校生にそんなものを背負わせるのは普通酷ですよ。
What else can we do? Leave it to you, the oldest confirmed human, or
なる
Fusashi-san?
ほど。では不妻子くん、
Yes?
君が進行役を引き取ってはどうだい？
I thought the role was entrusted to Yasunaga-kun yesterday, and I've accepted it. However, I don't intend to take complete control over the feast. I'm not Kondo-san.
兄ちゃんは違う。
If you can be sufficiently responsible about it, then yes, I don't mind giving this role to Fusashi-san or Hashimoto-san. They seem a lot wiser than I am.
卑下する必要はないよ。君はよくやっているけど、そんな若い美空で大人と喧嘩をするのは大変だろう。そして実際、僕は初日に自分の生存が第一義だと言ってしまっているからね。命のやり取りを経て、休みずに移住を決め、蛇として直接的に人命を左右する立場にある彼ならばどうかな、皆さん。
カンちゃんはヤスくんに
山脇様。しかし房石様は
りっちゃん、ハッサンが狼だって疑っ。
鴨志田様、そこまでは申していません。最悪。
私は好かん。
Tae-san, that wasn't a good move. She was helping you out here. I don't care what the old hat thinks, but Aki should be leading this shit.
私は息子はまだ若輩者ですから、房石さんは。
Agreed. He'd be a lot better at taking charge.
私も房石さんはおじいちゃんをくくるのに賛成はしなかったから。
僕はよくわかんないんでパス。
意図はわからないですが、橋本さんの提案なので信用します。
房石さんはバカ。
Why?
明確な反対は2つ、いや3つかな。房石君、君は信任を得たよ。
This wasn't the time to worry about it.
進行をよろしくお願いする。
むちゃくちゃじゃ。
Kiyonosuke-shi was probably right. The leader of the feast had no special rights. Their vote held no weight over anyone else, like Yasunaga-kun said. It was a heavy burden to carry. It Everyone else's eyes were the ones at the top. And if there was some cause for concern, they would readily tear them apart. Basically, it was just a very well-intentioned trap. Alright. Thus, I would take the bait. I was evil after all. I would take control of the feast. Play the hero, yet so chaos like the villain I was. I couldn't fail with my partner in evil watching me after all. Though all we do now is vote. If you want to call off the feast, though, well,
それは無理だろうと承知してるよ。
very well. I don't want to make Reikako-san do it every time, so I would be the one writing down this time.
筆はお使いになるのですか？
I haven't touched one since elementary school, but I'm sure I can make it somewhat readable. My hands are restless, you see. I was tempted to act like a chief secretary, but passed when I realized they probably wouldn't get it.
その前に今夜は誰を調べる？
One of the six standing.
特定しない理由は？
To make sure the wolves don't get to them before I do. The wolves don't want there to be more confirmed humans after all.
なるほど。
I would twist logic in the knots if that's what it took for an advantage. I'll start writing, so let's begin. Hashimoto-san, keep an eye out in case there's something wrong with the records.
なるほど。わか
From the eldest,
織部義継に入れるわよ。
hey, just so you know, I can't lose this vote. Hell, you got any idea how shitty you look right
な
now?
らくくればええわ。
I'm saying that for your sake. What a rotten old hack.
ろくでもないのは若いもんじゃ。
Shut up, you two.
穏やかじゃないね。
I'm kidding. Such poor taste. The joke was meant to shut people up, you know. Feel free to give a few words along with your vote. Comment on them if you want, but don't waste time bickering. I will deal with the disorder appropriately. Choose your words carefully. If you want to fight, take it outside. If you kill anyone in the process, you'll regret it. We're talking about killing someone here. Keep that in mind the next time you speak.
なんだか眼蓄があるね。
And you're more than meets the eye. If anyone else has objections to how things are going, please speak now.
殺すなどとは言わないでください。
Very well. Now, Cory-san.
山脇大さんに息子は義継は間違いなく本物だと思いますので
Nasato? Lady Yami Aki. Unfortunately, it appears that the elder of the Yasumizu loses the ability to cooperate whenever a feast comes. I agree with Fasashi-san that there must be order. Leave it at that, please. I'm sorry, Yasunaga-kun. Roby, you're next. Tei-san,
あんたらは
you have more than half the chance to pick a wolf. Even when you pick at random, this is fine. A third vote for Yami Aki-san. Moji, you're
香
next.
りママかな。なんからしくない感じがする。
There's no way our hag's a wolf.
いろいろ考えるだけ損かしら。
Please don't take your grudges from the votes outside the feast. Next, Yoshitsugu. 4 votes. She's in the lead. Next,
香
Haru-chan.
織さんに
What a powerful move from Haru. If she was a wolf, she would have already poisoned the food and killed everyone, even if it meant being killed by corruption. You really knew her well.
それただ大丈夫かもくらいだけだよね。なんで絶対大丈夫にまで引き上げてる。おじいちゃんは怒りすぎただけで殺した。
You could have objected to it when he was still alive. Even he might have changed his mind if his grandmother asked him to.
誰でも言いたい時に言いたいことが言えるわけじゃないもん。
Stop it, you two. I was worried that this would continue after the feast. If you ask me, Harusan has a point. Not everyone can say or do the perfect thing when it counts. The feast demands that we do our best. Our decisions and actions are directly related to the results from voting. Unfortunately, what Kanzo did yesterday was unacceptable to most people. It was best considered the cause of what happened to him. It's awful, but there are heavy responsibilities involving your behavior here. Keep that in mind. Also, please avoid accusing others of biases. Think of yourselves instead. Reikako-san, you're next.
メイコに投
Now
票いたします
this I didn't expect.
メイコはおそらくは無事なですメイコ以上に理に反する方が見えない以上
お姉ちゃん嫌い
You're next, Meiko.
草雪さん
If this wasn't a serious subject, I'd have fallen to my knees. She didn't change even in this situation. It probably didn't matter to her at all that she'd see me as an enemy. Though maybe fighting the badger wasn't so bad. It reinforced the idea that I wasn't a wolf. I'm next. I had to use the voting order to my advantage here. One for Meiko. Why was she shocked? We can laugh it off now, but if she voted for me when I had multiple votes, my life would be in danger. Next. There was another reason for my choice. I had 2 voters left. Tae-san was the current top 4. Then Kori-san and Meiko were tied for second with 2. If Mimiya-san and Hashimoto-san joined forces, they would bring either them to a 4 and take it as a final vote. By forcing them to make this choice, crush their ability to remain neutral. Also, I was pretty sure at this point that Tae-san would die. As I was the current leader of the feast, I had given the role of pushing her off the hanging pine. If I voted for her, she would hold a grudge and making the whole process a lot harder. Here.
橋本さん山脇さんと織部さんメイコちゃんの中で怪しいと思う人いますか
君は自分の意見で
票は入らなかったけど私も容疑は晴れてませんから猿のカゴ車である橋本さんに票を委ねさせてもらえないですか
ふむそれで信用が得られたらいいが僕は不妻子君に投票する
Everyone was shocked. Can I have a reason?
理由はね、
Hmm.
僕は君に対して1割とか2割の疑いを持っているけど本格的に疑いを向けるには材料が足りない
Okay. Is that a bluff or...
ね、これに票を合わせてもピン
いいんですか結果が決まり
それは他の人たちの投票の結果だよ
わかりました前言撤回は不信を招くでしょうし
あ、僕は言動と投票に責任を持つべきっていう不妻子君の仕切りには全面的に賛成ですよ
Thanks. 2 votes for me.
はい
うん
The results are in. Tae-san has the most votes at 4, meaning she will be...
安水はもうダメだわね
No, it was your attitude that... Though I would end Yasumizu either way. In a way.
あんたは蛇の仕事ちゃんと最後まで果た
As
す
I
の
held the
よ
rope, she told me that. Certainly. I'd work as a fake snake, though. I give her the usual rise not spiel and push her. The moment she fell, she let out a sharp... No! Of course she would. No one wanted to die. Yasumi Zoo people, old people, no one at all. Perhaps she wasn't prepared for this as she was last time. Then, Tae-san died.
僕今日ご飯いらない
That was what he said after the feast ended.
香りママ疑っちゃったし気まずいからね
It really didn't seem that way. He said that with Kori-san. nearby and with a full smile at
気に
that.
しなくていいのよ。全部を疑う。
ありがとう。でも決めたからいいや。明日はもらうよ。ごめんね、香織ママ。それじゃ。
Wait, where are you going?
もう寮に帰っとく。
霧の中は危険です。
それなんだけど、本当になんかがいるなら、夕方帰るときに、もうなんか起きてないとおかしくないかな。
That's true. It's not like a law says we should all spend the day together.
僕もそれはあまり心配してないかな。
What? Then I shall go back too. I'm not wasting time here.
不吉なセリフだな。
ただやっぱり集団行動はすべきだね。なぜなら近持くん、君が霧に潜んで何かしないか。
おお、なるほど。僕がみんなを襲う可能性もあるのか。
理解してくれて助かる。
じゃ、バイバーイ。
He pranced into the mist.
おお、やられた。
I'm sorry, Mochi is the kind of person who doesn't care if he bothers someone.
野里様は大人の分別をお持ちいただけるものと。
Oh, yes, of course.
私も今日はいらない。さよなら。
Oh, crap.
待ちなさい、さっきの話を。
People protested, but no one jumped at to stop her. She ended running away. This wasn't her just distancing herself from Kori-san. She was just breaking up of the high school trio. Mochi was no longer comfortable around Yasunaga-kun or Haru-chan. I didn't know which either way. Haru-chan was still awkward about what she told Yasunaga-kun in the feast. Don't mind it. Unless they're hiding something, they're gonna apologize later.
そうね。義継、
What a bother. Screw it. I'll do it.
久石さん、ちょっとあの二人を見に行っ
I can do that too.
安永、今はやめておきなさい。
Sure, I'll do it. I accepted it, then waited a moment for any objections, only to get none. Last time Takumi-san had said that the snake shouldn't go outside. Did they not just think that at all, or had I already lost everyone's
あの
trust?
子たちに気にするなって言ってあげて。
Alright, Reikeko-san, I'm going out for a second to try and be a responsible
ずるいで
adult.
す。
Sorry.
違います。子供はずるいです。好きにしても心配してもらえて。
What a simple emotion. Hearing that made me kind of worried about you.
本当ですか。実は先ほどから。
Are you okay? Should I give you a massage?
いえ、今収まりました。
どんな神経してるのよ。
I'm going. The order of the things had begun to crumble. I took some items from the prefab and went to the dorm. Standing in front of Haru-chan's room, I knocked on her door. Fusiasi. She opened the door.
何の用よ。
She sounded moody, but that was none of the harshness from before. It felt more like she was perplexed. She was probably thinking that I might have come here as a wolf. I was going to say something, but seeing your outfit caused my mind to go blank.
これ部屋着よ。悪い。
I figured no one wore this sort of thing since the war. Oh, I just remembered that Yasume Zoo people frequently survived on hand-me-downs. This was probably from someone else. It's the exact opposite of her usual weird fashion, but it was strangely fitting. It's probably her face. It went well in distinctly Japanese fashion no matter the era. Anyway, here, eat up.
何これ。
In my hands, I held orange boxes of food, the same kind Chimi had given me the first time. They're like cookies. They're easier on your stomach. Take 3.
へえ。食べたことないや。ありがと
You're hungry, right? You shouldn't force
気ま
yourself.
ずいもん。
Yeah, I understand.
香織さんには後で謝る。
And to Yasunaka-kun?
そうだね。それじゃあまた。
She closed the door.
僕にもくれるのだろうな、ハッサン。
I turned around, but didn't see anyone.
こっちだ、こっち。
He sure was. His face was right outside the railing on the second floor, almost right next to my feet. Huh? You jumped from the first floor?
そんなわけないだろう。階段のところからこっそりと侵入し、
Well, are you a monkey?
ところが降りられないし登れない。
Wait, are you doing?
ハッサン、ヘルプ。
I went down to the first floor, waited until he let go, and caught him. It's pretty light for a guy, so it wasn't challenging.
ドキッとしただろ
Well, he did look like a small, cute girl, but something I'd rather not while I was looking upwards, so he really didn't. What are you doing? Fishing for
う。
laughs?
いや、ボロを出すかなと思って。
Huh?
これまでのハルちゃんならあんな変な突っかかり方をしないと思うんだよね。ハルちゃんのじっちゃんのことがあるにしたって、あれはやっすんのせいって感じでもなかっただろう。なんだろうな、じっちゃんに向けてたイライラをやっすんに向けたのかな。僕の知ってるハルちゃんならじっちゃんもやっすんもどっちもけなさずに済むようなこと言ってなあなあにする。そこで、ああ、もしかしてハッサンあたりがハルちゃんをたぶらかしたのではないか。
No way. Well, actually, it was hard to say that I didn't. What the hell was up with this guy's intuition? I just came here to scold you guys a bit and give you some food.
そうだそれだ、食べたい。
I did that, and he instantly opened it.
おお、スイーツだな。おお、粉っぽいけどおいしいぞ、おいしいぞハッサン。
Don't force yourself if you're that hungry.
いやー、そろそろマジで毒を盛られるんじゃないかって気もしてさ。
Corey-san wouldn't do that.
誰かが抑えてなきゃとっくにそうなってる気がする。
What are you getting at? Can you go a minute without making weird assumptions?
香織ママは狼だと思うんだけどな。多分さ、そういうこと言ってるとみんな僕のことを鬱陶しく思うのだろ。だからハッサンだけに言ってるのだ。
So, you trust me?
ハッサンは汚れを受けるようなことはしないだろう。
I feel like you're hinting at something with every sentence you say. If you really are, let me just tell you that you're not getting across.
そっか。難しいな、人間社会って。
What a child of the wild thing to say. Anyways, eat up, shelter, sleep, and apologize to Corey-san tomorrow.
気が向いたらね。
Anyways, it's early, but good
ハッ
night.
サンさ、ハッサンとハルちゃん、狼？
I couldn't let that question trip me up.
ああ、いいのだ。別に。会ってても、会ってなくても。ただ、ハルちゃんがハッサンあたりと組んで、悪かろうがなんだろうが、強く強くなってくれてさ。それがハルちゃんの幸せならさ、僕的には大歓迎だ。
Hey, why are you acting like that's true?
違うの？
Why are you suspecting me? Of course it isn't.
別に、なんでとかはないぞ。ミスとかもしてないだろう。ハッサンは自信を持つといい。
I really
学
couldn't.
校だとさ、証明とかあるじゃん。僕がいくら正解当てたって証明がないと先生は点くれないんだよね。しょうがないじゃん。証明とかわからんけど、なんかわかるんだから。だからまあ 外れてるかもしんないし、殺すとかやったことないけど、くくるの見てる限りそんなに面白そうじゃないし、やっすんにも生き残って幸せになってほしいけど、きっと無理だよね。
Yeah, Cory-san was a wolf after
だ
all.
から僕は適当に思ったことを言うだけなんで、頑張れハッサン。お、ハッサン、ありがとう。墓にはぜひこいつを備えてくれい。
He tore off another aluminum package, all smiles. After that, I left the dorm. Mochi knew. There was no logic behind it, he just knew. Despite that, he said he wouldn't do anything. That was a lie. He already voted for Cory-san, so he was definitely following his intuition. He'd probably vote for me at some point just because I seemed kinda shady. However, like he said, no one would take his baseless accusations seriously, and so a vote's a vote. I was getting more and more of them. Would I survive? What did she mean by that? I really didn't understand.
香織さんごめんね、昼は投票までしちゃって。
いいのよ。演技だって分かってたし。安なかったら
香織さんの演技もかっこよかったよ。匠兄のこと引き合いに出したのは強かったよね。
私たちで殺してるのにね。
In act, they were praising each other acting. After I met with Haru-chan and came to the dining hall, she started talking to Cory-san like this. In Cory-san's case, this was a side effect of the madness born in her emotion sense of right. In Haru-chan's case, I told her to behave around Cory-san, so I was relieved.
で、久石さん、今日はどうするの？
The situation was difficult and tense, though it was just his intuition. Chikamochi Kamoto Shishida was getting real close to figuring us out. I told her to Haru-chan, who said, yeah, but it's just mochi. And he wasn't really influential. She wasn't wrong, but it was entirely possible that the humans would reach for any possible leads. Also, killing him would reduce the number of confirmed humans. The humans would wonder why the wolves would go for him, which would probably be pretty bad for us. Then there was Yade Hishimoto. He set me up as a leader and would try to expose me. His strange actions, like his vote, probably drew everyone's attention. If his words tomorrow were convincing enough, the idea that it was dangerous to have me as a leader would spread even further. I couldn't help but feel it was best to get rid of him early, but it was too late for that. I'd definitely be suspected if I killed him now, but it wasn't completely defenseless, though I was also concerned about how we still haven't fulfilled the promise. Why? Because I had no idea what Cory-san would do if we proposed that, and if only she was more cooperative. Yasunaka Orobi was influential as always. He was considering my words. Though he was a lot less powerful, he was at first, not to mention he'd been protected by the spider once already. If that happened again, our situation would be really dire. Yoshitsugu Orobi, however, was better off alive for now. Like always, he supported his brother while being staunchly opposed to the elders' village heads, people who fragmented the group. The crow was dangerous at first glance, but was a false snake. I would only be in danger of information contradiction. In other words, if there were no contradictions, I could use him to strengthen my credibility. Then there was a spider. To get rid of him, we had to kill either Hasso or Rekako. However, they were more immediate dangers. Right now, I had to pick one of the three. Can't apologize. He's dead. I'm gonna fulfill the promise. I named someone we had to kill today and provided some advantages of that. Hope they would understand. But why the laugh?
いろいろ考えていただいたけど無駄にしちゃったわ。
No, she didn't.
香織さん、ドアに触れたの？
The only door that the wolf could open the first we touched.
ええ。だってまた後回しにされたらかなわないもの。
Fully gone out of control. We wolves could fall to a single betrayal, so unity was more important for us, for humans, yet she'd done this. Then again, maybe it was my own fault. Whose door did you touch?
安永よ。昨日失敗していたから今日目が覚めてすぐ。
Was it unlocked?
ええ。間違いなく。
That it was good enough then. If we had to kill Yoshitsugu, I'd had to rethink my plans. Ho-chan was looking at me. She was asking if it wasn't the right time. Yeah. There was no guarantee that she could spend a whole day like a proper wolf after Yasunaga-gun died. In that case, Corey, I have a favor to ask you.
何かしら。
Can you die tomorrow? You would get rid of her.
死に方を決めるのは息子を二人とも殺した時ではなかったのかしら。
Corey-san, think about it yourself. Could you spend the entirety of tomorrow like a proper mother who lost her child, perfectly hiding the fact that you did it yourself? Don't you think you would kill Yoshitsugu-kun right away to find peace?
難しくないかな。今日すでに実力行使してるし。
そう言われると、それに実際死んで楽になれるなら。
Don't worry, we will kill Yoshitsugu-kun even if we ended up losing.
わかったわ。明日くくられるのね。
That'd help us a lot. I could only hope she pulled it off well. We then talked about how we would go about it. Then we returned to the dorm and killed Yasunaga Orobi. Like we agreed, they were the ones to do it this time. They used whatever farming tools they could find outside. So they had to stab him with a pickaxe and crush him with a hammer. In the end, the body was barely recognizable as human, just like with Takumi-san. The only real difference was that we had to stop Kori-san, who was bashing the remain, all laughing maniacally. That was the end. After calming her down in the dining hall, I reminded her what we had to do tomorrow. I would tell him about us, deny having killed him, be as emotional as possible.
あなたたちとは積極的に争う仲間としてのあなたたちとはここでお別れね。ここまでありがとう。
I really didn't deserve
香織
gratitude.
さんもここまで。
We'll fulfill our promise. The two villains said their goodbyes to the insane mother. They both left strangely defeated, yet respectful of her.
香織さんが死ぬね。
Yeah.
いい君。読み人に慈悲を注ぐ裏切り者なんて思わなくていいんだよね。
Yep.
善人ぶってて気に食わない。あいつは仲間にはいらない。
You don't have to think that way either.
いいんだ。泣くと心も疲れるから。
You can do that too if you want. You can ignore any bindings your mind and body. That's the privilege of being
春
evil.
秋は外で何をしてた人なの？宗教。
Not telling. That's a secret of mine.
ここ出たら教えてくれる？
I'll think about it.
ここ出たらどうやって生きよ
I wonder.
う？私お金持ってない。
You'd be fine with just a bit of money.
住む家とか仕事とか。
I'll help you whatever way I can. Honestly, I'm not sure if we'll even be able to stay in Japan. We might even have to cooperate and escape.
それは嘘だ。一人の方がよっぽど逃げやすいでしょ。気を使ってくれてんの？それとも 私目当て？
Which is the right answer?
少なくとも後の方言ったらそれは嘘。春明は女の子には困らないでしょ。
What's this? I thought you were more reserved. Since when was this something you liked
興
talking
味
about?
はあるよ、そりゃ。でもどうしたらいいかわからないし、兄ちゃんに嫌われたら嫌だし。
You like them, right?
好きって何？ただ嫌われたくはなかったし、一緒にいて楽しかったし、キスとか
That's more than
も
enough.
っと好きって特別な感情なんじゃないの？世界で一つだけの。
Well, aren't you innocent? Yeah, I won't say that there aren't people who feel a special sort of
普
love.
通そうじゃないの？
I don't know about normal, but with marriage at least, it's more like I guess this person will do fine.
夢が崩れるな。
Really? I'd say that being able to live together with someone is pretty exciting.
春明はそのあるの？
I did. I think it's indecent. Well, I won't deny that there was a dirty side to
不
it.
潔か。こうして狼になって人を殺して何でもなかったな。汚れるのなんて。
I'm glad you're not chasing me with a stick anymore, at least.
あれはごめん。
Well, it was an accident, a natural disaster, Hurricane Mochi.
ああ、でもなんか
Why?
春明は意外と純粋でいてほしかった。
What the hell?
キスしてって言ったら、
No.
春には魅力がないんだ。
You actually turned out to be way more attractive than I originally thought.
何それ？いろいろひどくない？
I mean that in a good way. You're fun, you're interesting, that's always been the deal breaker for me. But that's exactly why I can't do it. Warped affection would get in the way.
ろくでもないって。
It is warped. We'd be criminals licking each other's wounds.
それでも悪ならしていいんでしょ。
どうじゃ、反論してごろうじろ、悪党ども。
How much of that was you?
さあのう、じゃがこの娘の体は貴様を受け入れる気はあるようじゃぞ。
You're fine with that?
無論じゃ。海増えるはあまねく良きことなり。
Even if the child is that of a villain?
それもまた一興かと思いましての。貴様の言う悪が我に混じれば、もしや忌々しき信頼明神を下すようなものになれるやもしれぬ。どうじゃ、神とまぐわってみるか。
I sprinkled some water around us and slapped her. Get a grip, Haruchan. Don't let her do what she wants.
何するの？
Tomorrow's feast is gonna be rough. Let's get some rest. Good night.
私は春明のこと。でもいい加減なことは言ってない。あなたは私に悪を教えてくれた。他にもまだ春明からは得られそうな気がしてるから、そこは間違いなくおやすみ。
Crap. She was becoming more and more my type of girl. However, I also didn't want to feel even worse about my memories of events. Never happened in this timeline. Day 5. This was the first time I'd ever gotten this far. And we will continue next time.